What up, Homedawgs? My name is Gokey Gamer, and welcome everybody to week 5 of the NBBL, where this week you're going to be taking on StagosaurusRex and the Pastoria City Croagunks. Now, we're going into this week strong with 2 recent wins under our belt, and barely even making it back into the playoff standings. Currently, we are at the 8th and final slot, but we are far from guaranteeing a spot, and Stagosaurus is going to be really fighting for a win, as they are currently at a 1 out of 3 win-loss ratio. On top of that, we definitely need to make our differential better as well, so we're also going to be fighting not just for a win, but for a fantastic differential as well. I'm very excited for this game, but with all that being said, I'm not going to keep you all waiting here, because that's pretty much all for me, so let's get into the team breakdown. So Stagosaurus' team consists of major offensive threats. They have a Latios, Scizor, Iron Moth, a Sceptile that can turn into a grass, flying, or fire type, Galarian Weezing, Swampert, Umbreon, Quaquaval, an Electivire that can turn into an electric, flying, or water type, and finally an Ambipom to round things off. This is arguably one of, if not the most offensive team in this league, and we've got arguably one of the most defensive teams. So this match is going to be all offense versus all defense. While Latios doesn't get access to Mystical Fire anymore, it's still a massive threat, being able to click powerful Draco Meteors, especially while holding the Soul Dew. Tera Electivire can be really scary, Quaquaval, Scizor, and Iron Moth can easily endgame sweep if I'm not careful, and Swampert with Umbreon can provide quite an annoying wall to break down. In terms of what I think will be making an appearance, I think Latios is a must bring, along with Galarian Weezing, Swampert, Quaquaval, Scizor, and possibly something like Umbreon or Tera Electric Electivire and Iron Moth to round out the team. Now, while this team hits like an absolute freight train, I think we've got an amazing team to counter everything that could possibly come. So, let's talk about what I'm bringing and why I'm bringing it. So once again, the first Pokemon we'll be talking about, as well as our most likely lead, is none other than Volga the Colossal. This week, she's holding the Assault Vest to help buff her special defensive bulk, while also rocking max HP, max defense, and a relaxed nature, the Flash Fire ability, the Ghost Tera type, and the moves Tera Blast, Earthquake, Heat Crash, and Fire Spin. Volga is a phenomenal lead against everything my opponent has, and even if my opponent leads with a good counter, such as Umbreon, Galarian Weezing, or Swampert, I have great switch-ins for those Pokemon. This is meant to be the Iron Moth wall. As long as this thing is alive, Iron Moth cannot sweep. We also do massive damage against Latios with Tera Blast, Scizor with a Heat Crash, and Electivire with an EQ if it doesn't Tera. Fire Spin provides perfect chipping damage while also trapping my opponent's Pokemon and possibly picking up a KO with it as a result. My opponent is going to have an extremely hard time getting rid of this Pokemon, and I fully intend on taking advantage of that fact. Next up on the team to help complement Volga is none other than Purple Rain the Alomomola. Holding the Rocky Helmet, this is another near max HP, max defensive physical wall, and as always, we're rocking the Regenerator ability. We have Tera Steel as our Tera just in case it looks better to provide a surprise counter with a Alomomola instead of Colossal, and our moveset is Scald, Flip Turn, Wish, and Light Screen. Now, we actually have a bit of speed investment to outspeed a minimum speed invested Umbreon and Scizor, as well as a speed creeping Weezing and Swampert. Scald, Flip Turn, and Wish are all self-explanatory, and we're rocking Light Screen to help prevent something like Sceptile, Iron Moth, and particularly Latios from sweeping my team all outright. Hopefully this set comes in clutch. Next up on the team is a Pokemon that can severely weaken my opponent down with his webs. It's Taser the Vikavolt. Holding the Expert Belt, this is a max HP, max special attacking set with the moves Discharge, Bug Buzz, Sticky Web, and Energy Ball. Overall, this thing hits like a truck versus my opponent, especially after webs. Meant to help support the team and claim a life here and there, I can't wait for this set to hopefully pop off. Now next up is a Pokemon that crucially benefits from webs, and that is best friend the OGERPON Hearthflame. Max speed and max attack with a Jelly Nature to speed tie a timid Latios. Once webs goes up, we are the fastest thing on the field minus Scarfed Ambipom or Unburdened boosted Sceptile, meaning we can hit things hard with a Horn Leech, Ivy Cudgel, or Knockoff, while also setting up Swords Dance to guarantee the win. Hopefully best friend will pop off because she looks absolutely phenomenal here. Next up is another Pokemon with an absolutely stellar matchup in this game, and that is Komaraja the Terrapagos. See what I did there?
Oh, brother, this guy's stiff!
Holding the Heavy Duty Boots, this set is max special attack with a modest nature with enough speed to outspeed an adamant max speed Scizor, as well as a timid Latios at +1. We're rocking the moves Terra Starstorm, Calm Mind, Rapid Spin, and Flamethrower. My opponent not having a Ghost type and Terra Starstorm's only resist being a Scizor that's severely weak to Flamethrower means that Komaraja could just easily pick up the win after setting up. I'm super excited to hopefully see this set pop off. Hopefully Komaraja will be able to claim lives this week. And last off to round out the team is our bulky Wincon, Sheldon the Hisuian Gudra. Our perfect switch into Umbreon, we're rocking the leftovers and have the Shell Armor ability with the moves Body Press, Heavy Slam, Acid Armor, and Earthquake with max special defense, enough speed to outspeed a non-invested Umbreon and Scizor, and the rest being put into HP. This Pokemon could also easily win us the game, simply by setting up an Acid Armor, because none of my opponent's Pokemon are going to want to deal with this immense threat. Even a max HP, max defense Galarian Weezing can't take 2 Heavy Slams back to back. Honestly, I could very easily see this being Sheldon's game to sweep. And that's the team we're bringing this week. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I'm feeling extremely confident this week. My opponent's team definitely could destroy me if I don't pay attention, like Quavel and Electivire could easily sweep me if I'm not careful, but I think I have the perfect counters to everything my opponent could throw at me. Hopefully that ends up proving to be true. Let's see if we can win this week and put our win-loss ratio in the positives. And now, let's go ahead and bop into the battle. Whap, and we are back! Alright, I'm so nervous for this fight. There's so many scary Pokemon. This is gonna be real interesting. Good luck, have fun to my opponent, as always, and yeah, let's do this. So immediately in the team preview, I take notice of no Electivire, which was definitely ideal. Alright, so we see Swampert, Galarian Weezing, the Duck, Latios, Sceptile, and Iron Moth. Okay, so no Scizor, that's pretty chill. Let's see, honestly, I think leading Volga is actually probably the best bet here. Volga's good against pretty much everything, so I think that's what I'm going to do. I mean, even like Swampert, like if I Tera, and see what it wants to go for, we can get some good intel on the set. I decide to lead Volga the Colossal as my opponent actually leads Iron Moth. An absolutely perfect lead for us. But yeah, good luck have fun to my opponent. Lamp. Okay, that's Iron Moth. That's the most ideal lead, actually, for us. Holy crap, that's so good. We also see that Iron Moth's special attack ends up being boosted due to its held booster energy, which means all we gotta do is Tera up and click an Earthquake. And that ends up resulting in the easiest one-shot of my career on turn 1! Let's freaking go, Colossal! Beauty. That's a dead Iron Moth. That is a dead Iron Moth. Let's freaking go. This ends up bringing in Quavel next, which could definitely get out of hand if I'm not careful. After doing some calcs, I decide that my best switch in is Taser, which could punish the Dancing Duck just in case he tried to set up with a Swords Dance, but he just ends up clicking in some chip damage with Aqua Step. Since we can tank pretty much anything else Quavel wants to throw at me, I decide to click Discharge for the one-shot. Granted, while I did risk Swampert coming in here, I knew I could play around that and simply go for Energy Ball or swap out into OGERPON or Alomomola the next turn. Thankfully, this play actually pays off, as while my opponent does end up switching out Quavel, they end up sending in Galarian Weezing instead, most likely predicting a Grass move. So we get a hefty amount of damage off with Discharge, and discover that Galarian Weezing's ability is Misty Surge, which puts it on the ground and is weak to ground-type attacks. Worried about Pain Split or Flamethrower, I opt to switch back into Volga, which still pays off as I easily tank a Sludge Wave and don't have to worry about getting poisoned thanks to the Misty Terrain. The next few turns result in Volga and Weezing exchanging a couple hits back and forth, as I do learn that Weezing does in fact have Pain Split. But eventually, Volga is able to pick up her second kill of the match with a combination of Earthquake and Fire Spin. This is why I freaking love Colossal! Unfortunately, the next Pokemon that comes in is Sceptile, which ends up triggering his Unburden ability by using up his Misty Seed. And while I really wanted to try and save Volga and eventually recover her HP with a Witch Pass from Alomomola, I decide that for the sake of hopefully finding out what Tera type this Sceptile is and not letting any of my other Pokemon take too much damage, I have to let Volga go down. Thankfully, I do learn what type of set Sceptile is, as he not only Terras into a Tera Flying type, but also goes for an Earthquake of their own, KOing Volga and making me realize this is most likely a physical set. After doing some calcs, I realized that most likely Taser should be able to live in Acrobatics and fire off a discharge to Oko Sceptile. Tera Flying. How much can Vikavolt do to you? I think I can just go into Taser here. I don't think there's any way you can kill Taser. Obviously, getting up a Sticky Webs would be nice, but it's not required here. I don't need that to happen. They do just opt to fire off in Acrobatics, but this shouldn't KO. It does not. Beautiful. Sceptile goes down here. Beauty. And that's exactly what ends up happening here. Granted, Taser does end up taking a lot of damage here, but it was absolutely worth it, especially since now this opens up OGERPON a lot more. This ends up bringing Quavel back in, and not wanting to allow it to set up an Aqua Step Moxie combo, this time I opt to switch in Purple Rain the Alomomola, who not only easily tanks an Aqua Step, but also chips down the Quavel a bit with her held Rocky Helmet. The next turn, I decide to go for a Wish, either predicting a close combat, Swords Dance, or a swap with the Latios. And while once again Quaquaval does switch out, this time my opponent opts to go into Swampert. As a result, next I go for a Flip turn, which ends up outspeeding Swampert, and then I have to decide what Pokemon I want to switch in. Tera and Hisuian Goodra are obvious no's, since I don't want to risk either of them taking too much damage. Vikavolt doesn't outspeed and will die to any attack that isn't an Earthquake, and if Swampert is banded, a roll could end up one-shotting OGERPON. But in the end, I decide to risk it with Best Friend the OGERPON. And I think I'm gonna go into Best Friend here, actually. Is there a reason I don't go Best Friend? Like, Swampert shouldn't be able to one-shot me, I don't think. It can possibly one-shot me, if it is Choice Band, and Max Attack, and Adamant, which I don't think it is. They just opt to set up Rocks, that's fine. And Swampert ends up going for Rocks! This is absolutely massive for us! This allows me to pick up an extremely easy KO with Horn Leech, and next up is none other than Latios. And this is the situation I really wanted to avoid. Latios and OGERPON have the exact same base speed stat at 110, meaning if Latios is also timid at max speed, we're dealing with a speed tie. If Latios is Scarfed, then I can tank even a Draco Meteor from a modest set, and in return we have a 75% chance to OHKO with a knockoff. But if it's Soldew, then Draco Meteor has a chance to KO if it's timid, and Choice Specs is a guaranteed KO. And even if we live, there's an extremely good chance Quaquaval could have Aqua Jet, which could not only pick up the Revenge KO, but also get an attack boost with Moxie. This next turn could either seal the battle for us with a massive win, or we could be put in a really bad spot. Well, here goes nothing. Please win the speed tie, OGERPON! So now, here's the interesting situation. Draco Meteor does not KO me. Knockoff has a very good chance of KOing you. I'm just gonna click Knock. Oh, we outspeed? Okay. Yes! That's victory. That's victory. I think that's a guaranteed victory for us then. Holy crap, that's amazing. Choice Specs. Wow. Okay, so we definitely got lucky there. Yes! That's what I'm talking about, best friend! We got the roll we needed, and that resulted in us picking up the one-shot versus Latios! And not only that, but we end up discovering that Latios' held item was in fact a Choice Specs. We definitely got lucky here. As a result, best friend is easily able to pick up the KO on Quaquaval and give us a massive 5-0 victory. Let's freaking go! That was a speed tie. That was absolutely a speed tie, but I'm very happy with that. Absolutely happy with that. I just click Horn Leech here, and I think I just pretty much win the game. OGERPON with the sweep! Let's go! This is gonna be an easy battle to edit. GG's to my opponent, what a game. 5-0 for us. Oh my god, I didn't even realize that. Wow, 5-0. Oh man, this was amazing for us. Not only back in the positives, but we have a 5-0 victory. We played that so well. I am so proud of us for that whole thing. Best friend proving how powerful she is. We love to freaking see it. Let's go! GG's once again to Stagosaurus for a fantastic battle. While we did get extremely lucky, my opponent brought some really fire sets. And I definitely had a blast in this game. But yes, GG's again to StagosaurusRex. That game was absolutely wild. Oh my god, I love that. Oh my god, I'm so proud. I'm so happy with how that turned out. Literally, like, all my Pokemon put in so much work. Minus Goodra, well, Goodra, Terapagos didn't even hit the field. But that's besides the point. Just having them in the back made things a lot easier for us as well. So, definitely love to freaking see it. GG's again to my opponent. What a fire game, and really, really good for us for our differential. Absolutely phenomenal. We're looking really good now. Let's go. We gotta keep up this momentum. We gotta keep up this momentum, keep winning games. We got this, baby. We absolutely got this. But yeah, I'll pass it on to future me, because I know there's some stuff that we gotta talk about, so yeah. Now, before I end things off here, there's actually something that I wanted to talk about at the end of this video. So, let's talk about it now. And we're back. Hello everybody, future Gokey here. I just had a really quick announcement for y'all. So, earlier this week, I decided that I wanted to drop Witch Hat the Mismagius from the team. Well, I did actually have Mismagius on a team since I had to build weeks in advance, not knowing if I was going to be out of town or not. I just kind of realized that Mismagius unfortunately didn't fit the team in a unique way. I knew while drafting Mismagius and Haunter on the same team gave me two very similar Pokemon, I really valued Mismagius' ghost typing and speed control on this team. However, I've noticed that Tera Ghost Colossal has been providing all of my needs on the Ghost typing, and Miss Maggie's speed tier just doesn't come in handy that much. So while I do pride myself on bringing every single Pokemon that I draft at least once, I just realized that Miss Magus was not going to really come in handy that much. And that's one reason I ended up dropping her from this team. The other reason I dropped Miss Magus is because I wanted to have another decently specially defensive wall. While Pheasantipity, Hisuian Gudra, and Terrapagos do that job decently well, I find myself wishing that I had at least one more Pokemon that could tank hits really well while also dealing some heavy hits back. And honestly, I think I have found an amazing pick for that. Allow me to introduce to you Swamp Thing the Brute Bonnet. So first off, Swamp Thing's stats being extremely high in attack and HP, and having pretty great defenses overall means that I can make them either defensive, offensive, or both. Their typing is also extremely useful on our team, giving me a defensive grass type and a defensive dark type, so OGERPON and Darkrai don't have to take up that role and can focus purely on their offense. Photosynthesis can also provide me with an immediate stat buff as well if I equip a booster energy for some fun tech. And while Swamp Thing's moveset isn't the best I've seen, it can easily still get the job done, with moves like Seed Bomb, Sucker Punch, Close Combat, and Stomping Tantrum for offense, Synthesis for HP recovery, and Spore and Stun Spore for status inflictions. I have also decided to change Tera captains from Alomomola to Brute Bonnet as well, since realistically at this point I was never going to Tera Alomomola, especially over Colossal and Girder. Swamp Thing's Tera types are Tera Dark, Steel, and Poison. Tera Dark is there because of the required stab, as well as hitting super buffed Sucker Punches. No Pokemon is really going to have a good time taking that hit. Tera Steel is there to help tank flying type attacks a lot better since I don't have a ton of switch-ins for it, as well as adding a crap ton of resistances, which is always a plus. And Tera Poison is there because defensively, this is the perfect Tera for Brute Bonnet. It gets rid of my fighting and bug weaknesses, and while I do become weak to ground and psychic type moves, neither type is going to want to switch in on a Seed Bomb and Sucker Punch combo. So yeah, Swamp Thing has been officially added to the team. This is what the team looks like now, and I'm extremely excited to see what Swamp Thing can do. I have very high hopes for this Pokemon, and I think it's going to put in a crap ton of work. And with all that being said, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed, then please be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel so that way you don't miss any future battles from me, as it really does help the channel grow immensely. I'm hoping to hit 100 subs by the end of the summer, and it would mean so much to me if you helped support me in that goal. Be sure to check out my other content on this channel, as well as my Nuzlocke and main channels that are also linked down in the description below, and I'll see you soon in the next video. Peace out, mates!